Hey, hey, there go the horns. There go the guitars. It's the G-Man and Kill. What's the Matter podcast.
Must be Wednesday.
Oh my gosh, it's Wednesday. Lovely, lovely. We got a little bit of new theme song music up. Hope you guys are liking it. And yeah, let's get this party started. Woohoo! How you doing, sweetie?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing good, doing good. Hey, oh my goodness. You know how you were saying no kids and stuff?
Uh-huh.
Man, my freaking kids are like exploding. Not exploding, but grandkid number 7.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Congratulations.
Yeah, little Cade. Cade is his
When
name.
was he born?
K-A-D-E 1:08
The
p.m.
7th? Sweet.
Yeah, so July 7th. So is
7/7.
8 days before my birthday.
Very cool.
Yeah, I love it. So yeah, so that happened. And but otherwise, just staying busy. How about
Let's see. What do I have going on? Didn't do a whole lot. This week was pretty uneventful. I mean, busy with just stuff, but nothing crazy exciting.
Don't you like those uneventful weeks though? Sometimes,
yeah.
I mean, when the events happen that are good,
I've finally gotten used to like the dips, the flow.
the ebb and flow.
Yeah, because like I used to think that I could just be on all the time.
Yeah.
And I can't.
No
I
way.
can't, especially not ADHD. But like, I would just go balls to the wall and then crash and then get down on myself. Like, why can't I? Why can't I? Nobody can. We
Well,
try.
yeah, you got to decompress.
We really do.
So it's very important. So let's see here. What's going on there? I got to get that thing off. So we are working through this. We got episode 10 today. So we're officially in double digits. We're going to get to 12 and then we'll probably start focusing more on maybe getting some video. Yeah. And we got our YouTube channel and stuff like that. So we're just plugging away. So what's the feedback so far when I talk to people that listen to the show? They seem to like it.
They like it. Yeah. I'm getting really good feedback. Like people are like wanting to see it on Facebook. They're wanting to see
For
the
sure.
video. They're used to us doing video, over Facebook Live.
It's a little adjustment.
So yeah, we'll get there.
Once we get these are going to be collector's items. These episodes,
right? These original,
just like that.
First
There was no video.
We'll make NFTs out of them.
Especially some of the conversations that we've had, just to kind of reflect. But that one day with Adrian, Ashley, that was fun.
Oh, that was so great.
So off the cuff, we were there talking about digital trust, and then before you know it, you guys are talking about penis size.
Well, there's digital trust involved in dick pics. I trust you won't send me one unless I ask.
That's right. Hey, I told those guys, take notes, guys, because these ladies are giving you a heads up on what not to do if you're serious about something. But yeah, we've had some fun shows, and I'm having a good time. Hopefully, you're having a good time.
Having a blast. It just feels so good to be running my mouth again.
Yeah, right.
I did it for so long,
Yeah, and we'll start getting more followers, putting again the efforts in, getting that stuff done.
And guests too. I can't wait to get guests. Like I want to invite. I'm in a cohort for this AI business stuff, and I love my mentor. He is the coolest kid. His name's Junwoo. And it's spelled Jun. And
so you said kid. So is your mentor younger?
Oh, he's in his 20s.
What does he mentor you on?
AI.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, this kid he's like a whiz kid, and he's like teaching us all how it's all us Gen Xers. It's funny. Okay. We have lives like once a month, and we go to the live, and like everybody in the Zoom is all Gen Xers.
Right.
And he's like 20. Oh, he can't be more than
25,
we know.
26. I mean, because even where we're at in life, if we don't learn it, there's probably 10 years from now.
Done for.
Yeah.
Absolutely done for.
I'm all about that too.
Yeah.
And it's really fascinating stuff. Of course, there's the
very
conflict.
Interesting.
Is it going to be good for us or not? And
it's how you make it.
Right.
It's we are the stewards of it. It's not. We cannot be afraid of it. It's a computer.
Yeah.
It's a box of bolts.
Yeah, but we've all seen Terminator, man.
Yeah, we've all seen too many goddamn movies. That shit is not real. Stop.
Yeah.
There are interwoven bits and pieces of truth, but that stuff is not real.
I trip out when I see like these military dogs.
Yes.
Like that can shoot your ass.
Oh, yeah.
That is crazy because it's like, we've all heard and experienced at this point probably a computer glitch. And so what if that computer glitch happens or something like that and people go down, you're almost like waiting for the inevitable accident that something's going to happen and people are going to start pointing the finger, say, see, told you so, when there could be a logical explanation.
Right.
Like there is when there's any kind of accident. I was just listening the other day and just like falls, right? Falls is just falling leads to some pretty bad accidents.
Big time.
You don't anticipate, so anyway, but yeah, we've had some pretty cool shows. I think one of the early ones that we did was on masculinity. So we've had the digital trust with Adrian. And I think at this point, again, probably going to have a little bit more of a mix, with guests and stuff like that. But we're still kind of getting to know each other, a little bit of hosts. And so, but today we are going to be talking about the influence of youth culture. And so basically, I guess, what's the matter with today's youth? Let's frame it like,
I wouldn't put it that way. Let's not put it on them. Let's put it on the culture.
Not blame,
right?
Matter, like what's the subject matter with today's youth? And so, I mean, I guess it's the lens, that you kind of talk about. As a matter of fact, if I can remember right, remind me about commenting on one thing that I think is wrong, with today's youth. And it's going to definitely sound like an old man, get off my lawn, but I'm okay with it. And so I'll tease you with that. So, but today, we're going to be talking about the influence of youth culture. And so, defining your youth culture, what would you say, would you be your personal definition of what is youth culture?
Ultimately, I'm going to go a step above it first. We are responsible for what youth culture becomes.
We being who?
We being the adults. We being the predecessor generations. So if we're bitching about it, we need to look at ourselves, because we are responsible for these children and how they grow and how they are formed. And so if we're seeing crap we don't like, we need to look at ourselves and go, okay, where did they get that?
Happen? Yeah.
Because they mirror us. They mimic us. They watch us to know what to do and adopt our crap behavior right on top of it. So we've got to be very mindful, especially now, especially with AI, especially with, all of the, I won't call it threats, but potential for threat to certain things that we don't even know what the unintended consequences might be yet. They have no clue. They have no way of knowing.
That's the difficult part, right? Because if you care about somebody and you're trying to give them what you perceive and you've experienced as good advice to keep them safe or to keep them on a good, positive life path, and all they can hear is just like, oh, here's another old person telling me what to do. And we've all been there.
Of course we have.
I've done some pretty scandalous things as compared to what people would have probably thought with the family I was raised with.
Sure.
I surprised a lot of people.
Yeah, I did too.
But you're looking for ways to fit in.
And you're also looking for ways to rebel.
Yeah, and like I said, separate yourself from your parent identity. So it's fascinating stuff. But I guess one of the definitions that came up is youth culture encompasses the shared beliefs, behaviors, and trends of young people.
Yeah.
And often distinct from mainstream adult culture.
Right.
And so that's the fascinating thing. And I guess some of the things I want to delve into, because it can include, just subcultures and then unique styles, talking about music, got all over the place. So our values, as we spoke about, we're shaping our identity. And the scary thing is the identity that we forge when we're young, especially in high school, is rarely the same identity that we have when we're 40.
Not be. It better not be. I see that, and it's scary when you see those guys.
What was that song? Somebody's mom, Susie's not Susie. She 1985 and 1985. She's still preoccupied with 1985.
Right.
So couldn't quite grow up. But
it's right in my head too.
Yeah. See, there's a senior moment.
Seriously.
I was talking to one of my friends about that today, and I was like, there's things you can do, but it's just part of it. You got a lot of data up there at this point. And so would you say that some people have more RAM
Yeah.
than
More RAM,
others.
bigger SS.
So yeah, so good stuff here. But so yeah, so youth culture through the decades. Let's have a little bit of fun here, and let's go through the years and see what kind of slang terms. I thought this would be fun because
I have no idea what these kids say today. I've heard some of the words, and I'm like, and that means what? Like,
yeah,
I
right.
no idea.
Let's see, how far did I go down on
Like
this
Rizz.
list?
What's Rizz?
Yeah, so,
RIZZ.
okay, so we'll get into some of the stuff. So we have some of them that are as current
Does
as
that mean risen?
2025. Rizz, I've heard that too.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
There's a local kid, K Rizz. I think his name's Chris.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. But so 19, let's go all the way back to 19. So of course, to be cool or hip,
Neat.
you know, that's the style sophistication
already,
of you're in the know,
right?
You know, cool and hip back in the 50s. So ankle biter.
Oh gosh,
you remember
kids,
that?
yeah.
Yeah. So that was for a
ankle
small
biters,
child.
Yep.
Yeah. And so what
I used
did
to call
you
dogs that?
what about backseat bingo?
Backseat bingo.
Yeah.
Was that like seeing landmarks
Nope.
on road trips?
No, that's a good guess. Though.
That's what we used to play backseat bingo for, with landmarks.
Backseat bingo. I did a lot of this in high school and college. So this word is described as making out in the back of a car.
Oh, I would have had no clue about that. I was such a dork in school. Nobody was looking at me. Nobody was making out with me anywhere, much less in back seats of cars.
So some of these things, of course, we've seen in movies. You know, Daddy-O.
Daddy-O, yeah.
Like a man or a dude. So, hey, dude, it's Daddy-O. And so, you know, hey, man, I really dig that.
Oh, I know. I heard that word the other day. And
Daddy-O?
And I laughed about it. Listen, I have Adam Ant on my rotation in my. I have like 1,500 songs in my phone, and Adam Ant is one of them, and he says "Daddy-O" in "Dog Eat Dog." Is one of the lyrics, and it made me laugh because I went, oh, "You boomer," because he's much older now.
Yeah,
you know, he's
Adam Ant,
70.
he had some fun,
great stuff.
Yeah.
I saw him a couple times. He was so good.
But to finish up the fish, of course, Made in the Shade.
Oh yeah,
Square.
Yeah.
When then later on, Huey Lewis. It's hip to be square. Right. So
yeah.
he tapped into
tell
that.
his era.
Threads.
Duds.
Closed. Yeah. Or slang for, and a knuckle sandwich.
Going steady.
Knuckle sandwich. Yeah. What? I got something like that here.
I have his ring. I have his sweater.
Oh, here it is. Knuckle sandwich. Oh, I got to turn it up.
Cut a rug.
Cut a rug.
Cutting the rug dancing.
Was that in the 50s?
Uh-huh.
It's not in here. But yeah, so
that may have been an earlier term that was used in the 50s, but I heard it.
So it was 1960s.
Okay. Cut a rug was 60s?
No.
Oh.
No, I'm moving to the 60s.
Okay.
So I'll say something. So far out, man.
Far out, yeah.
That's do you remember Cheech and Chong's
Ass, Gas, or Grass, Nobody Rides for Free?
Yeah. What was the other one that was what was that? What was their big album?
Up in Smoke.
Up in Smoke. That's exactly right.
And you know what they're into now? Psilocybin, silly pills. They have something out called silly pills.
Microdosing. All right, 60s, Out of Sight, Groovy.
Yeah.
You know, was of course expressing approval, excitement. Yeah. Oh wow, this is surprising. So Bummer.
Bummer was 60s?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I thought that was 80s. It really came into itself in the 80s.
Like Ashton Kutcher.
Well, really with no, it started with the Valley Girl.
Oh yeah,
Valley
right.
Girl.
Yeah.
She's
so they you know,
Bummer,
what you got that
Bummer
20-year cycle on that one.
Yeah.
Let's see. Bread meaning money.
Money.
Hanging loose.
Hang loose.
Relax. Yeah, let's hang loose.
Hawaii. That was a Hawaii term.
Jazz means you're excited.
Jazz. Oh, really? That was from the 60s? Because I've been saying that for a long time, but I didn't.
So it means you're excited about something.
Yep. Oh, I still say that.
Lay it on me means tell me something. You know. Oh wow, here's another one. This kind of again seems like a stoner thing, but righteous.
Righteous.
Yeah. That reminds me of like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure stuff. Let's split.
Split.
You know, it means to leave, and of course trip.
Oh yeah,
I had a bad trip. Strange situation or a drug experience.
I've never had a trip, but
we are going.
That's not true. I've done DMT.
We are going over slang terms of our youth throughout the decades. So 1970s. This makes sense. The first one they have here is boogie. Referred to dancing. You know.
Yep.
Saturday Night Fever.
Yes.
What was that? 76.
76, I believe.
Somewhere around. Yeah. Yeah.
I was either
That was
either 8
big.
or 10. I wasn't allowed to see it.
I learned how to disco dance.
Me too. I love
Got
disco.
that.
I still
got
love
that
disco.
one move, you got the
Yeah, the white boy shuffle.
the white boy shuffle. That's right. Oh, gracious. Burnout.
Sure.
Unmotivated person
Yeah.
was called a burnout.
Yep.
So instead of being
burnout.
lazy, bum.
Yeah, I remember the burnouts.
Right?
That's what we called the smokers, the stoners in high school. Yeah.
So to relax was to chill or veg
Mhm.
out in the 70s. Crash meant to sleep over.
Yep.
Decked out, somebody that's well dressed. J.J. Walker.
Dynamite.
Funky.
I never said that.
No. Yeah, that was kind of
Funky. I never said
that's
dynamite.
kind of his thing. Let's see.
Foxy lady.
Referred to an attractive woman.
Yep.
All right. And then, of course, moving on to the 80s, just like, awesome. That's so awesome.
Totally tubular.
Rad. It's so rad.
Rad, yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Every time I hear rad, I always think of Chapin, Jonathan Chapin. That's his word.
Oh, is that right?
Mhm.
Too funny. Oh, what was that? Oh, it's not in here, but do you remember? It seems like middle school, so we're talking back to the 70s. So do you remember when something would happen and then they would be making fun of you? And so it's kind of like the same thing as saying, ha ha, that happened to you. But they would say, do you remember that?
Busted, yeah.
Bust.
Yep.
Just like, what a bust.
Mm.
That type thing.
To bust on somebody.
Yep.
Yes.
That's not in here though. So I pulled one out of the memory banks, right?
Yeah.
That was a good one. So, okay, so bogus means
Bogus,
fake, not
yeah.
cool, and then totally, of course, absolutely. Oh, this is interesting. I don't remember this one in the 80s. Dweeb.
Oh, dweeb. I totally remember.
Really?
Dweeb. Absolutely.
He's such a
dork.
dweeb.
Dweeb, dork.
Dork. Yeah, I remember
same thing
dork.
as dork or geek. Dweeb and geek.
Wonder why dweeb wasn't on my campus. I don't know about that. But awkward person.
Maybe that was an East Coast thing.
Mall rat. Everybody knows that's a
mall
person
rat.
spends a lot of time at the mall.
I was a mall rat.
Stoked.
Stoked?
Totally stoked.
I thought that was 90s.
Maybe it's the late 80s.
Maybe.
Kind of bled into
That's
the
Chris
early
Payne.
90s.
Chris Payne is stoked.
Oh, yeah.
That's his word.
Yeah. And then calm down, man. You need to take a chill pill. Right? And then gnarly.
Yeah,
which,
definitely.
Kind of, again, I think motocross sports and more sports.
I never used gnarly much.
Yeah.
Grody.
That's pretty cool. Close
to the
starting off with this one. All that and a bag of chips.
Mm-hmm.
1990s.
I like all that in a bag of chips.
All that in a bag of chips, right? And da bomb.
I say that.
Excellent.
Yep.
So, and then as if
I say
disbelief. Stephen, or not, the ESPN guy.
Oh, right. Stuart.
Stuart.
What is it? Little. Stuart Little.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Isn't it?
No, it's ESPN guy.
The black guy, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it Little?
I don't. Oh, man.
Are you sure?
Stuart Little. No, Little's not sounding right. Stuart. Oh, man. Here we go again. Oh, this is like my wife was saying, we should have a podcast. We'll call it, I can't remember, shit show.
Stuart Little's a mouse.
I knew something was wrong with that. Oh, God, that's crazy. That guy was a great sportscaster, too.
He really, I loved that crew back then. The four of them.
Mm-hmm.
Bill, him.
Chris Berman.
I love Berman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pioneer there.
The older guy. And the big mouth, what was his name? Had short, spiky white hair, blonde hair. I can't remember. I loved that era.
Yeah,
of the four of them.
They came up with bling for flashy jewelry.
I still say bling.
Fresh.
Stuart Scott.
Yeah, Stuart Scott. Yeah.
Scott Little, close.
Fresh and fat, PHAT.
Oh, right.
I
never said fat because I was fat, but fresh.
I haven't getting jiggy with it.
Getting jiggy, of course.
We had a cat named Jiggy.
And fresh was also due to him.
Here's something surprising. This, I didn't know this was in the 90s. This seems like a 2000 one, but My Bad.
That was 90s?
That's what it says.
Have I been saying my bad for 25 years?
My bad meant my mistake.
I thought that was.
No duh.
Oh, no duh. I thought that was. I said that in the 70s. No duh.
Trendsetter. Props.
That's
a scrub.
90s, yeah.
Person.
Yep. Psych.
Meant you were joking. Talk to the hand.
Talk to the hand.
Oh, man. man. Okay, so God, remember the Bud Light commercial? You got Spuds McKenzie and
Oh, yeah.
stuff like that?
Oh, yeah.
And
What's
then
up?
that's what I was getting ready to say. What's up? That was a greeting, back in the 90s. Golly, that was a long time
Wow, it
ago. It
was. It
seems
really
the
was.
years, that's just crazy.
Yeah, as soon as you say it, it takes you right back. You can
All
see
right.
the guy shaking that commercial where he shakes it up and then opens it.
Yeah.
Oh, what was his name? Was it? No, it wasn't CeeLo.
No.
It wasn't Marvin or Martin. What's his name?
Here we go again.
Black comedian.
You have to do Martin.
No, it wasn't Martin. He was chubbier than that.
Cedric the Entertainer.
Cedric.
Yeah, Cedric the Entertainer.
I would get Cedric and CeeLo mixed up.
Yeah.
Cedric.
All right, Y2K. So abbreviations are coming in now. So BFF
Okay.
came in.
Yeah.
It took me a while on that one.
What, best friend forever?
Yeah, I didn't know it was best friend forever.
It was a chick thing.
I thought it was big effing something. So chillax, chill and relax. So,
it's funny how chill has evolved. It was chill pill, chillax.
Now bromance is here.
Bromance. I like bromance.
You're over the, I guess, the stigma, of maybe having a male,
having a tight best friend who you're just that close with.
Let's see.
Yeah, I don't know why that was always the exclusive province of women.
But like somebody with big muscles.
Muscles, yeah. That was 2000?
Yeah,
I thought that was 90.
I thought that was earlier
I did too.
Deets, yeah. Fanboy, fangirl, described obsessive fans. Never wanted to be a fanboy
too.
Oh yeah, there's some of those.
DOI.
There's still some of those around.
Oh god,
it's not a bad job, I hear. Faux shizzle, man, faux show, hella.
I love hella. I've been saying hella since the 80s. That's actually that's a California. That's a Northern Cal thing.
You have missed out on some trademark opportunity.
Right. That I first heard hella. That was a Chris Payne thing too. But I first heard hella from Machine Head. They're from San Francisco.
Yeah.
And he said when I interviewed him, he said hella a lot. And it was funny because when we were first, I'm from the East Coast and I was still living there when I interviewed him on the phone. And when he first used the term, he tried to like make it a little more genteel. He said hell of. And I'm like, honey, you can say hella. I know what it means. I said, I may be from the East Coast, but I know Cali terms. You can say hella. And he was like, okay. I just didn't know if you knew. I'm like, yep, we know.
I love it. So give you a hella holla.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously,
holla at your boy.
That means to call out somebody, get it with them. Home skillet was a close friend.
Home slice.
Home slice, home skillet, close friend. Janky.
Man, yeah.
Yep. Janky.
G.
Where's wonky? Wonkish.
Oh, wonky.
Where's wonky?
Wonky is an old term. Wonk actually means politician, or like a policy, like somebody who's deep into policy. That's what wonk means. And it's the term got kind of co-opted when we slanged it to wonky, meaning off or not quite right. What was the other one? What did you just say? Oh,
janky, wonkish.
Janky is the precursor to janky is kludgy, which is an IBM word. An old IBM term.
Was that an IPA?
No, it meant fucked up computer or process, like that would get bogged down. Kludgy meant like bogged down and kind of
it's not working.
Yeah,
not working the way I wanted to. Newbie, newcomer.
So again, that's I wouldn't take that from 2000 either. Newbie has been around easily since the 80s for computer users. Were newbies.
Even salty, they have salty in the 2000s.
Oh, salty's ancient. Salty's the 20s.
Oh, maybe it's just because this is actually what youth had. What slangs were being used in these decades. Yeah. All right, 2010s, we are climbing. So this is the decade that brought terms like adulting.
I love adulting.
Responsible bae, being a romantic partner. Don't get too bougie.
A bougie, okay. Yeah, bougie's actually an old
class.
Bougie's a very old term too. That's Will Smith from the 80s.
Okay, and cancel culture. Cancel culture. Extra. Oh, here's one. Fleek.
Fleek. I never understood that one.
Perfectly
at all.
stylish.
Yeah, I don't get fleek at all.
Perfectly stylish.
And I never adopted that.
We talked about this a little bit on one of our episodes, to ghost somebody, cutting off communication or picking and choosing when it is that you're going to reach back to them. Let's see. High key. I don't remember that. High key.
Low key.
Openly. Low key means subtly.
Yeah. High key. I've never heard anybody say high key. That's not a term. That's low key has been a term forever. The usage of it, the way it's used today, is different. But I've never heard anybody ever say the words high key.
Having receipts. Proof.
Right.
right?
My AI likes to tell me it has receipts.
I like that.
It's cute.
Shook meant shocked, and slay meant to do something exceptionally well.
Okay.
Shade at somebody, insulting them. YOLO, you only live once,
yeah.
you know, and thirst trap
Okay.
was social media posts seeking attention.
Yeah. Yep.
We
I don't
just-
know why it's called thirsty.
I don't know. Yeah, we just call
I've
them
never
attention
understood.
whores,
Right.
regardless of gender.
Yeah. I've never understood the term thirsty.
Thirsty,
Like, what does that mean? Hungry.
right?
I mean, I get that, but thirsty? Like,
All right, so 2020's current as and of course these aren't all of them, but they're just some through the decades.
Flex.
That,
Is
you
Flex on there?
Remember?
That's a new
Let's
one.
see. No, it's not on this particular one, but I think you're
I like
right.
that one.
You know,
I like
that's
that.
definitely probably
Yeah,
been
like-
what. So slang of bet, for agreement. Saying, hey, you want to go, catch a movie tonight? Bet. Means like
just saying
I'm
bet.
down.
You don't say you bet?
Bet.
Are people
Just
that
means-
freaking lazy? I've said you bet since I was a kid.
Hey, that's twice as many syllables.
Bet.
Not syllables, but
Like, no, just say you bet.
yeah,
Like,
you bet.
make it. See, now
We say you bet because we're like as old as we are.
But no, it's because we have common sense and want to communicate well.
Maybe it's from time management. Maybe they took a time management course.
It's stupid.
You're getting
like,
upset.
Certain I do. I get very upset about this because words are critical. People don't understand the power that words have and why we even have them. And when you start distorting shit like this, it dilutes everything.
You hit on,
and it starts to break it down. Like my worst one ever. Anyways, I am just bonkers over that. There is no such fucking word as anyways. Why would you need more than one?
Anyways.
You do not plural ever an adverb. Anything that ends in ly should not have an s.
Anyway can be broken up too, like any way you choose.
But that's different than the word anyway.
Conversation
like,
to go anyway, so it's kind of like a little space
Right.
holder. Anyway. You're going to leave. Anyway, did you say you're going to mow the lawn? Anyway.
But somehow an S got added to it in the last 10 years, and it has made me freaking insane.
Okay. I'm going to have to write that one down. After bet, though, what I was going to say is that sometimes, see how you just got so upset? Because it's like, you bet, in our mind, your mind. But when the kids say, bet, I think sometimes they maybe not consciously, maybe so, but they may be coming up with slang knowing that it's going to upset older people like us.
It's not so much.
Joshing.
No, I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
And it's not so much that. It's more of an exclusionary, secret, clubby thing.
Yeah,
It's
do.
an unconscious. I distinctly remember doing it when I was in high school. Like, but I'm a wordsmith. I mean, I'm a writer. Words and word origin and all that have always fascinated me. And so I've actually watched this. Here's a perfect example of how they tried to inject a piece of slang into the culture and it didn't work.
Who's they?
Media.
Okay.
There's reasons for this too. There's reasons this stuff, kids don't always just make this up. This stuff gets injected.
Inserted in them. Programmed.
Specifically to dilute and shift. And the one they tried and failed miserably, because I remember when I heard it in the movie, my brain went, look, they're trying to inject that. They want to see if people pick that up. And nobody ever did. It was shibby in Dude, Where's My Car? Ashton Kutcher.
So what did that mean? Shibby.
SHIBBY? They would go shibby and do their little hands. They do their fingers
like
together in this
shibby-doo?
weird gesture. And I distinctly remember when I saw it going, they're trying to see if people will pick that up. And they didn't. It was so stupid and it didn't make sense that it did not get picked up. But at the time I remembered thinking that this is predictive programming. This is cultural injection.
So cap is
cap.
No, current slang, bet for agreement and cap for a lie. Often used with no cap, and they're talking about this is no lie.
Cap means?
Yeah, no lie. I'm not kidding around,
See, that's stupid. That to me,
cap means lie. Why are you trying to cap on me? Something like that. Why are you trying to lie about me? So
that's dumb.
It's spelled CHEUGY. I'm assuming this is
what is it?
Chugy.
Spell it?
CHEUGY describes something out of date. it's out of date, I should say. And drip refers to a
Chuggy?
stylish appearance. Yeah, chuggy.
Chuggy. I've never heard that one.
Green flag,
Green flag I've heard.
positive sign.
Yeah, I deal with a lot of that with what I do. Red flags and green flags.
It's different means something feels
It's different.
unique.
Yeah, I like that one too.
Quarantine and chill meant staying in during lockdown. Duh. Right? So Rona, short for the coronavirus. Slaps, here's a good one. Slaps. So I haven't really heard this. So slaps describes something excellent, especially music.
No. See, this is the kind of thing I don't like. Like, it's one thing when, like, you make up a new word that carries the root of the original, where you can tell what it is. This stuff that's like using words that already mean something in a completely, like, not even close related way.
Yeah. It's like that seems like it's part of their gig. And as I look back, there's all these slangs that we grew up with, and we weren't discerning. It was just other stuff that the other kids were saying, and we adopted it without thinking anything at all.
I very selectively picked and chose.
Yeah.
Picked and chose.
Yeah. I mean, right here, an example of da bomb.
Yeah.
Means excellent. So you didn't break that down. It's just like, I need to, like, if you're saying that there's a bomb, I need for you to stop.
Okay, no, that's pretty obvious. Like that you're
that's what, like,
da bomb.
I'm just saying that sometimes with these slangs, they don't make sense.
No.
But it's a code for us when we were growing up.
I get that's the bomb.
I'm sure that there was stuff that we were saying that our parents didn't know what we were meaning. You know what I mean? Because they weren't in the loop.
But we didn't co-opt, like, existing words. Usually we made up new shit.
Man, I didn't make up anything. I just adapted with what was going on. That's what I'm saying. I didn't break down the words,
Like, but
I don't think most
it would
people
make
do.
sense. At least the stuff we said, you could kind of, they're like fleek.
I think you're being too critical.
Cap.
You're being too critical. You're not even in your 60s yet. Stop.
I'm just saying it leads to communication breakdown.
I'm just giving you shit. It's my job. We got to keep each other in check sometimes. So finishing up here in the 2020s, tea.
I like that. Spill the tea.
Spill the tea. Oh yeah. Okay. Spill the tea.
That means
gossip.
Tell. Yeah. Gossip. Talk. Okay. Tell the story. Spill the tea.
A vibe check. Just
energy.
You're assessing
energy.
Mood and atmosphere. Yeet. Yeet.
I have I can't stand yeet. I have no idea what that means.
It's an exclamation of excitement, or used when throwing something forcefully. Or it's like if you're throwing a baseball, that's like a sound effect. Yeet. I don't know.
No,
I'm not. We're learning. We're learning here on the show today.
I'll never.
Okay, so Rizz.
Risen or rise?
No, you're gonna like this one. Okay, so Rizz is short for charisma.
Okay, I'll take that.
I like
that works,
right?
Okay, I do too.
So Rizz.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Because he has charisma.
Okay,
good guy.
I can.
Delulu.
I say Delulu a lot.
Delusional and gassing up is giving excessive compliments. I have not heard of that.
I've not heard either.
Gassing up. Oh, he's gassing up his mom. He's gassing up his mom. Mom, you look really pretty tonight.
Gassing up. See, now because like I use gaslighting.
Oh my gosh, what is this? A skibidi?
That's I've seen
refers
images
to a specific animated.
It's a very
video.
specific animated thing. It's like our version of Ren and Stimpy.
Now I knew these. Bussin' means awesome, and sus is short for suspicious.
Suspect. Yeah, suspicious. Yeah.
So,
I like sus too.
It's fun.
It is fun. I love. I could do this all day.
All those slangs.
Words.
So hopefully you guys had some memories, and all you young people that are listening to the show, you're kind of had a historical perspective of slang. So music genres like rock, punk, hip hop. Let's talk about how our music preferences as young people, they shape your kind of generational identity, right? I have never been to an emo concert. Oh, that's true. That's not true. I guess because 30 Seconds to Mars, they're kind of considered an emo band, I think. Jared Leto.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So I went and saw them with Linkin Park. That was a
fantastic
night. I was in rare form that night. And
I've never 30 seconds.
I did not. So here's a funny little anecdotal story. So we stayed in South City. No, we stayed in Concord. That's where it was. So we were in Concord, California, and I did not know anything about the band. I knew we were going to see Linkin Park. They were the headliner, but I didn't know anything about the band. So anyway, in my state of mind that I was at one point the concert said, "Dang, the lead singer looks very similar to that actor, Jared Leto." And so anyway, finished the night, had a great time, and we're having breakfast with the at the hotel or whatever. And so we were talking to these ladies, they say, "Where are you guys from?" and all this stuff. And it's just like, "Oh yeah, we came here for the Linkin Park show last night." And so it's just like, "Oh, we were there too. Wasn't that show fantastic?" And so eventually I commented just like, "Yeah, in that opening band, 30 Seconds to Mars," I said that the lead singer looked like
so much like
Jared Leto. And the lady goes, "Because it is Jared Leto, you idiot."
Well, that's not nice. I mean,
it was funny though.
You don't know, you don't know.
Oh, it was funny. It was funny. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but
hilarious.
I didn't even mind being called an idiot in that situation.
That's funny.
Right? So, anyway, I remember that. That was pretty funny stuff.
That is funny.
So, let's see. So let's reflect on like consistent things with youth, right? So, rebellion versus conformity cycles. Like, what is a conformity cycle?
That's a good question. How are they referring to it?
A conformity cycle. Maybe I would think, we'll look it up here, but let's say, again, back in the 50s.
Like a generational
Back in the 50s,
turn.
You did as you were told, right? And now it seems like the world is like, you do what you're told until you don't have to.
You don't have to
anymore.
Until you can get around it. So you can figure out a better way.
So I guess, the comparison and contract is outright rebellion versus conformity channels. What's the most rebellious that you were when you were growing up?
I got arrested.
Like, how old were you?
15 or 16. I got caught shoplifting with my neighbor.
I know. I did the same thing when I was 12. Farrah Fawcett poster.
Oh, yeah. You told me that.
$2. Yeah, me and my brother.
Well, this was before...
this was before my parents were law enforcement, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This was before, the beeper tags. And we were getting away with it in, like, the junior stores.
Uh-huh.
And I would never have done this on my own. My neighbor was very influential on me, and she had a plan. So I just followed what she did. And then she had the idea, for some reason, to upgrade to Pomeroy's, which was a department store. And that's where we got caught. They had surveillance. They had actual...
Somebody watching the screens.
They had a woman that I knew something was up.
Was she plant?
She was a plant. And she was kind of like low-key following us around the store.
Uh-huh.
And I saw her stop and talk to one of the clerks behind the perfume counter. And something went off in my brain and went, employee. But I didn't say to Kathy, we shouldn't do this.
That's a classic, that little classic angel and devil.
Yep.
It's like, you better not do this.
Yep.
Man, that guy's a pussy. Never listen to him.
Yeah.
I've had those conversations.
Yep.
The struggle is real.
Yeah, it is.
So conformity cycles is not universally recognized, but a distinct sociological or psychological concept. It can be understood as the cyclical nature of social trends and fashions, where individuals conform to current norms, only to see those norms shift and be replaced by new ones to which they subsequently conform. So
interesting.
I guess
that's an interesting term. I don't know that I would have thought of it or called it that.
Right.
To me, it's more...
It's kind of like a continual going
collective
with the flow.
Energy. Yeah.
You always go with the flow.
It's what happens is you get...
That's what comes
hive mind.
Yeah.
Same thing. It's collectivism.
Right.
Where energy sinks by entrainment. So people that are into the same things psychically link up, and it becomes a trend. That's how that stuff happens. It comes, then that collective energy builds and builds and builds, and then it comes out as this big.
And that's interesting too, because as I reflect, it's kind of like the difference between the two. So I've been rebellious at times, and I've conformed at times. Early years,
militantly so on both sides.
yeah.
too.
So like early years, of course, you have and some things, like being raised fear-based parenting,
Mhm.
right? And so
I
you
was definitely-
conform. Then once you get your little bit of freedom back in the day, of course, it was our vehicles, and of course, being able to be what are they called nowadays? The free range children.
Hey, right.
We were
And see, I was
all
latchkey. I was
we
definitely free range.
like we would walk to school in the morning, walk
Yeah,
home.
I walked to middle school. So it was
Mhm.
up the street.
And if mom and dad wasn't there, you're supposed to stay inside. But once they got home, they're like, "Did you do your homework?"
Yeah.
"Yes, sir."
Get
"Did
out
you
and don't come
do
back
your
till the street
chores?"
lights
"Yes."
come.
Yep, that's exactly right. And then we would go out. So, but back to the conformity cycle, I guess it's interesting. That's an interesting definition because let's say again, so rebellious between 14 to 20. And then once the family started, then I'm back to conforming, where things that I would do
Right.
when I was younger and take that risk.
You're like, oh, I would never do that
Now
now.
with kids, it's a
Oh,
whole different
absolutely.
thing. So I got to be more
Or-
aware. And if I'm breaking any laws, it's not going to be like, maybe rolling through a stop sign. It's not going to be some of the things I used to do.
Right.
I got to check out the statutes of limitations.
Yeah, that I don't like that either. Like I'm militant about driving and language.
So this generational rebellion versus conformity cycles, I guess that's what the point is that depending on where you're at in your life,
And they
are
happen-
going to be these generational differences. Like, for example, this is what I was going to mention earlier. One of the things that bothers me, and it's to me clear exhibition of not conforming to society, is sagging. When young people have their pants down and their underwear showing.
What the hell is that? Like,
So again,
it's embarrassing. Like, I look at those dudes and I'm like,
I just don't get it.
You look like an idiot.
Yeah,
Like,
because
you look like a slob idiot who wasn't raised right.
it's obviously conforming to something that trends,
Right.
maybe they're in bad neighborhood and I would almost not guarantee, but I would guess that their parents, if they had any, they probably weren't the best, and that's always a funny thing, man, because people can have kids and they can be the most unqualified parents and they're taking an innocent,
I've always thought it was
living
amazing
being.
that you had to have a license to drive a car, cut hair, and for a while talk on the radio.
Yeah.
But anybody can have a kid.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's again one of those double-edged swords where we should be able to have the freedom to live our life. When you
have 9 of them from different men and you can't support a single one of them,
yeah, I mean,
something needs to change.
I feel bad for some of the kids that I see around
Exactly.
here.
That's the problem.
Being pulled around this little wagon as mom and dad are like doing
Or on leashes.
What, and anyway, it's just it's a sad state of affairs. But back to the sagging. So from what I understand, so this habit originally formed in our prisons. Yeah. And of course it was for everybody knows what happens if you're in an all male prison in there. And if you, have the ability to strong arm somebody, into sex and then, taking advantage of them that way, that stuff happens. Right. And so that was a way for the prisoners who were willing, so where you don't have to fight me, I'll give it up. They would sag. And that would be the message to, hey, whoever wants it, give me a call, give me a ring.
Don't be violent, just come on over.
Exactly. Yep. And so I just could only think that because it's not an epidemic, but, I see it.
It's actually gotten better. It was real bad for a while there. And now
I see it more than I want to.
Yeah. Now when I see it, I'm kind of like, isn't that out of date?
But do you think if they knew that that's what they were representing? I think that there's a lot of ignorance
and they refute it violently when they hear it.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, buddy.
And so not just that, but like if you were, say, seen like that, and then you, for some strange reason, are in front of somebody for a job interview and they know that that's part of your persona, do you think that you're going to have a better job or a better chance of landing that job or worse chance?
Right.
And even women. I mean, I just like, how do they find that attractive? Do they?
No,
Like,
not at all.
then why did they get away with it? How come, like, once a guy that's sagging hooks up with the girl, that they don't get straightened out by that girl? Just like, hey, if we're going to hang around, if you're going to be my boyfriend, you can't be dressing like that.
Yeah,
They
and then maybe
they
they stop
accept
for a
it.
while, or only when they're around their homies.
Yeah. So anyway, that's one of those ones, rant over. But I cannot stand, that trend. That
No,
seems
I can't
it may be
either.
better, but it still seems like it's here. Oh, and especially if the dude is like over 30 years old.
Oh, that's
Dude,
oh,
come on.
yeah. Any grown ass man still doing that?
I
Let's have
mean,
his head
even
in.
somebody over 25, you're supposed to have your frontal lobe
Right.
mature by then. But as far as like the generational rebellion and conformity cycles, that's some interesting stuff, especially with that definition. And so a suggested resource, of course, and it's not the cure-all, but the Pew Research Center on Youth Trends is something that you guys can check out. So let's see. Now, what about this? Let's talk about actual youth activism, right? Because I can remember, of course, early, some tragic stuff like Kent University, right?
Kent State,
Where the
yeah.
student, yeah, Kent State. There was something, of course, there was a guy that was taking sniper shots from
In the bell tower.
Texas.
Yeah.
Yep, all that stuff back then. But youth activism. And so now their activism, of course, we see the kind of, I guess you would call them protests / riots, that are happening down.
You mean the
in
plan, bought, and paid for movements?
Yeah. But social platforms like TikTok and Instagram, I have to say, like
Don't use either of
TikTok,
them.
I still, I
Can't
don't
stand either one.
I don't even have the app.
I don't either. I've never had TikTok.
People like as soon as that 2000,
I have
so
an
about
Instagram
7
account.
or 8 years ago. That's where I first, I think, heard about it. And of course, since then, subsequently, I see this, of course, all the things that are happening with TikTok. And again, the youth have left Facebook for the most part. It's something that only old people go on, and their jam is Instagram.
I hate Instagram.
And I have to say, I have an Instagram account, but I do not use it as much.
Well, and this is the whole thing with kids and doing that. Like, they're not getting any information. There's no like real in-depth anything on Instagram. It's all just 30 seconds.
Yeah,
So this and that, and the, like, blah, 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 blah. Like, you don't, and a lot of it's like truisms.
Yeah, it's
and
like
stuff.
short attention
These
span
short,
theater.
Like things that zap you in the face that aren't necessarily true, but you don't take the time to stop and think about it because there's no context.
Interesting.
So yeah, I don't like that platform at all. I don't like any of the just short.
What do you think the youth like it? What do they like about it?
Because they're lazy. They're over. They don't. This is such a big thing, and I saw this coming a long time ago, and nobody heard me. But Gen X, we are the last ones that grew up with technology, but not on it. We have a massive responsibility to make sure that this kind of thing didn't happen, and we blew it. Now, these kids are because they've grown up literally with screens in their faces almost from the time they're born, the way that affects your brain and your neurology is like, we're not even fully sure yet. That research is just now emerging and showing how it's rewiring brains for lack of attention. And it's screwing up your dopamine and your serotonin. Autism and ADHD is so rampant right now, is because it has to do with your dopamine and serotonin cycling, and we're not getting enough of it because all we're doing is on these screens all day, depleting our dopamine, getting another hit. It's like a drug. It's like any other drug. You build a tolerance to it, you need more.
Yeah, and everything in moderation. And I saw a post the other day that said something to the effect of, drugs are so stupid. And I initially in that when I read that, it was somebody that I know, and now they're not. And so I read this book one time. I think the title was something to the effect of How to Keep Your Kids Off Drugs. His thesis, his hypothesis was that the reason that there are more kids that are doing drugs is because we don't talk about them. Everything's like and as a teenager, you go after the taboo. You'll go after often what your parents don't want you to do, because you're in that rebellious mode. And so the point is like, you're preparing him for adulthood, and you talk to him about the birds and the bees and the consequences that could happen if you're not safe and if you're not protected. And yet there are drugs that are out there, and the ones that are going to offer drugs to, and it happened to me, of course, and most people that I talked to about it, it wasn't a drug dealer on the corner of the street. It was somebody that I knew.
Yeah, your friend who got it out of the medicine cabinet,
it's a friend or relative that introduces you to it, right? And so if you know that, hey, I don't know who, it could be one of my kids' uncles, aunts, cousins, some distant relative, but that's the odds. Those are the odds that the person that introduces them to drugs and alcohol is going to be somebody that they know, right? And so
and
the
a lot of
point
times the same one
is that if
them
you say this is going to happen, there's this thing called peer pressure. And the reason this happens is because when you go to school, okay, so you know that you're accepted and loved here in this home. But when you go to school, okay, the people tell you that they love you and that they care about you, but time is going to show that there's very few that you're going to school with right now that are going to be in your life 20 years from now. So the peer pressure is going to come from you, as we all do as human beings, wanting and having a need to fit in.
Yeah.
Right. And so one way that this happens in school is drugs and alcohol, sex. Right? Those three things are going to be right in front of your face, and you're going to be struggling.
And sometimes food.
You're going to be struggling with kind of being a younger person and kind of being able to see and taste some of the things. You're going to feel, close to adulthood. So you're in this middle part.
Yep.
It's very confusing. So back to the drug thing. This is this drug. This is what it does. This is this drug. This is what it does. This is the feeling, that you're going to have. And you may not be able to, of course, you're not going to be able to like have them experiment with this when they're 12 years old. But the point in the book was that by talking about it and having it come from somebody who at that point they trust, then what's going to happen is that when they do get confronted, just like, it's just like, it's you.
Yeah.
You're the one that, dad or mom told me about this. And so it's you, cousin Barney.
Right.
And so now that instant, and then so you're getting a confirmation in that instance that, oh my God, my parents like predicted this. They told me this was going to happen. And so it builds in subconsciously that my parents know what they're talking about. My parents care about me. And then it can. Yeah, exactly. And then on the other hand, if you don't talk about it, and then you say, this is bad. This is, you're going to ruin your life and all that stuff. And then when their friends come and say, hey, you need to try this. And even if they do say no, then they come to school the next day and they're still alive.
Right.
And they're the popular kid in school.
They're going to say, wait, he does it and nothing happened to him.
And that means my parents lied to me. And they asked me not to lie, but they lied to me about this. And so there's all kinds of, again, psychological stuff that goes on. And it's not stuff that a kid processes, but I tell you, the next time they start trusting their friend more than their parents. So
there's a crux in this too, where depending on the affinity they have for the other person who's introducing it to them, that can skew it too.
Right.
Like if mom and dad have said, oh, that's bad, but Uncle Barney, you and Uncle Barney are tight.
You love Uncle Barney, yeah.
You're going to want to impress Uncle Barney. It's when you're young and don't have full information to make your own choices and discernment, your need isn't so much to have the experience of the drug, it's to have an affinity with the person who is trying to get you to do it, and you want their approval. You don't necessarily care so much about the experience. You're not thinking, oh, this could kill me, this could make me sick, this could do whatever, this could get me in trouble. You're like, ooh, this person wants me to do it with them. I'm going to do this and get points with them.
Well, yeah, like,
you know what I mean?
My uncle, and it happened just like that too. So the person that really introduced me to it in a situation where I was away from my parents, there's no way that I was going to get caught, was my Uncle Lloyd. And he passed tragically when he was about 32 years old, ATV accident at Pismo Beach.
Oh.
But he was definitely our favorite. He was the youngest uncle, so he was closest in age to us.
He's the cool uncle.
So we went and spent like a week, with him. And
whose brother was he?
My mom's. my mom's youngest brother. And so anyway, yeah, we spent a week with them in the Bay Area. I think they were living in San Jose. And, me and my brother and my poor brother, because I was about 14. And so that means, I think back, and so that means my brother was like 11 or 12. And, my uncle, as I look back now as an adult, and I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
Right.
I'm
Right.
kind of like, just like, I'd like to have a talk with him. Just like, what were you thinking?
thinking?
We're like the age that we're at, shouldn't have been introducing, came out of it okay,
Yeah.
but anyway, it was Uncle
He
Lloyd,
was probably
and
trying to be the
he's
cool
just like,
guy.
well, for sure. And then, back then it wasn't like the
It
type of
wasn't
stuff they
as
had. I
nearly
think they were down to like stems and, just, it wasn't like the most potent type of stuff.
yeah.
And, yeah, but, took a couple rips and, um,
Back th
found out what it was like
back
and,
then
lived through it. And, but, the point is about, again, trusting and rebelling. Man, it is a tough, tough road. And you're not even qualified
Right.
as a youth to
Parents
be
are
able
so
to
weak.
discern when you should rebel, which, kind of when you rebel should be something when it's a matter of like what's
Making a
right and wrong.
Yeah, and rarely it is. With kids, they just wanna go against authority. We are designed as human beings not to be told what to do, and
Yeah, explain that. What do you mean by
we we have a built-in resistor to that, and it and then if you wanna add neurodivergence to it, you get pathological demand avoidance.
Hmm.
And so there's all kinds of brain things that can go on that can cause that type of reaction.
But as far as like the activism component, right?
Mhm,
I can
mhm.
remember like they had a big Supreme Court thing, I think, where there was some high school kids back in the 60s, and it was the freedom of speech. They basically, basically ruled that high school students, even though you're not a legal adult, they still have the right,
Protest rights.
First Amendment rights and stuff like that. So, but now it's not really, say, about the activism as much as it is about just
It's
basically
about the virtue
basic
signaling.
rebellion.
Yeah, it's about the virtue signaling
Yeah.
of getting the credit for trying to stand up for something, but not really ever
For
making any
example,
effect.
what comes to mind right now? That girl Greta.
Ugh,
What's her
Greta
name? Thunberg. Yeah,
yeah,
Thunberg. So, you got the whole Al Gore climate change thing and stuff like that that she started, doing. And now it's not an issue
right.
anymore, or not
Yeah,
near as what
not
it was.
well, right, they're on something different now.
So,
Eh,
well, that's what I started to say is that, now since,
different agenda.
she did that, and now she's on to something else, and she takes a boat ride or something like that and has to call the Coast Guard. And, I think there must have been, I guess, a point in time in her mind where, God, I was relevant at one point and I need a new gig.
Or her handlers. It may not even be coming from her.
Well, that's true. Kind of like a child actor having a parent that just has our parents ever? I don't remember any kind of interview with the parents. Who
No,
are her
no,
parents?
yeah, I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know what I don't know much about the situation.
Same type of thing. What kind of parent, you know what I mean? I would be concerned about getting your kid out there like that at such a young age, and she's on, yeah, 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 exactly.
Follow the money.
As sponsors now. Let's talk about what we as older adults can do or say possibly where we get it wrong, right? Where we get things wrong. I don't think we were as sensitive when we were growing up. If some older person, as far as a generation, was saying some disparaging things,
Cup. Oh,
which
absolutely.
what would do?
There
They
ain't no
don't know.
crying in baseball.
Blow it off.
Oh,
We wouldn't.
tough, tough,
We
tough.
wouldn't
Oh,
give them any kind of
we
credibility.
weren't
We
supposed to
just
have
like,
feelings. We weren't supposed to react. We weren't
yeah,
supposed to. We were supposed to be as stoic as
yeah,
you know
yeah.
World War One people.
But what
And
about some, like, so let's say stereotypes? Like I of course can think nowadays. So like some stereotypes that are probably out there is that our youth today lazy, entitled,
Mhm,
they don't have as tough of a skin as we did. They're
right,
too sensitive
snowflake.
about
Yeah.
things. Yeah, you get offended too easily and stuff like that. Again, not trying to be again the older person, get off my lawn type of thing. But do you think those things are true? And if true, what are we comparing them to? Because it has to be something far removed as far as the number of years ago, right? As far as like compared to the greatest generation, you've got 18 to 22-year-olds that are storming the beach of Normandy with bullets whizzing past their heads and stuff like that,
Yeah,
right?
but 18 to 22 was a much different
That's what I'm saying.
age.
That
It was a
well,
much different level of maturity back then because
more than they were more hardened. That's what my
well, they
point
had to be. They
is.
worked in
Yeah,
farms. They did
yeah,
manual labor.
right,
They worked on cars. Like the nation's infrastructure was being built.
right,
So, that's what people had to do it. And
exactly.
you didn't complain. You did, you just if you wanted to eat, you were going to work and you were going to do it and you were going to keep your mouth shut because there weren't as many. Now we have too many damn options.
Yeah, and all those that may be all true. I guess my question is that assuming that these stereotypes that I just mentioned are true, I mean, aren't these here and present today at the detriment of our youth? Because like think of it from whether you're talking about national security or the floods that just happened, right? Okay, so when there was, let's say, my daughter's in a tree 10 miles from where my camp is, right? Now, do you want some, again, emo kid responsible or do you want somebody that knows how to work on a truck?
Right.
You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
But
But that's been
that leads to a bigger issue. Why don't these kids know how to do it? That was our responsibility.
time.
Yeah.
Like parents are not there often with divorce rates and things like that. So that whole institution is different. Again,
This is a
people should
societal thing.
people
And
should not be some people should not be having kids.
Oh, absolutely not.
They're not ready for it.
Absolutely not.
And so yeah, so society, I would say that it's society's. It's our fault as a society that our men are not, again, stereotype, I'll admit to it. So the men of today, the young men of today are not as
Even the
strong.
old men of today.
Yeah, the old men of today. Well, I mean, I'm talking about the youth. So I know they're just not as strong
Not
as
even
they
close.
used to be. Again, when you're graduating from high school at 18 years old, kid, they're just not as strong. I'm talking about everything. I'm talking not just
Everything.
physically, I'm talking
mentally, emotionally, skill-wise,
right,
knowledge, information.
So not to be a hater, but what can we as the older generation do to help them without mocking them?
That's
difficult.
the problem. See, this is the problem. We have got to stop this like generational infighting bullshit where the boomers are down on the Gen X and Gen X is down on the Zs and the Gen X is down on the boomers. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how we've allowed ourselves to be broken down like this and so starkly, where we are rejecting the other generations that we can learn from and acting like we're, some independent satellites by ourselves, just out here doing whatever. And you can see it. You can see the breakdown in the fabric of society where, people just aren't as collaborative anymore. Like you don't know who you can trust. You don't know if you can depend on your neighbors anymore, or, and there's a lot of people getting more and more single, alone, and so it's becoming a thing where we are having to be so self-sufficient that we're having trouble relating to each other. Because, you don't know who can help you. Like now there's almost this thing of, well, I didn't have any help, do it yourself. Like there's this it's a strange.
Yeah, and they don't consider the fact that even though you did it by yourself, how difficult that was. How challenging was that to take care of yourself? And why would you want to put that on somebody else if you could help them have to go through that, right?
Right. And
does that
it also used
come
to be
down to selfishness, or
there's definitely a lot more narcissism in society than there ever
Uh-huh.
has been. It's becoming more exposed. It's just it's a tough issue. It's just a tough issue because the media, and things like COVID have purposely been designed to make us wary of each other and separate, because they know, the cabal, capital T, they know that there's strength in numbers.
Right.
So they want to keep us as divided and separate as possible. And now it's easy. It's now, they don't, we're doing it for ourselves now. They introduced the media with the internet, and now we're just, we're segregating ourselves, just like little ants in trails.
Well, I was thinking, like, wouldn't it be cool because we're talking about the generations, kind of fighting against each other, and you start thinking, it's just okay. So what could you do? And so what do you think about, because we have foster parenting, big brothers, big sisters organizations and stuff like that. So what if you flipped it the opposite way, where young people could get in touch with, say, older people that are in living facilities or something like that, where they're still there, right? There's no Alzheimer's or Parkinson's to affect, say, their thoughts
Right.
significantly. And again, having some programs to where young people consistently went and visited with the older people. Again, just a thought that came to my head is how cool. I wonder if there's something like that around, to where there's some school program to where it could be kind of like a volunteer type of thing.
Communities have stuff like that. I don't know that there's anything,
because
there's nothing nationally organized.
I love talking to older people. That's why I'm saying I've always had not a fascination,
I
but
used to.
I just have always liked talking with older people. I can remember being in my 20s and like my grandmother who's
definitely
in her
when I was
90s.
younger.
When you think about, like, I can remember sitting there thinking, so at this point when she's like 92 years old, and so when she was born, when she's a little girl, there were no cars.
Right.
There was maybe a few of them, but it was only for the wealthy.
Right.
There were still horses and trains, wagons. Okay. And so she grew up with that. And then 10 years old, something like that, the Great Depression happens. So she was right when she came into existence, right? She's on not the coattails, but on the, just right after moving pictures. Of course you got the telegraph. And so, but telephones were something that they were just getting started. I mean, not everybody had those things. And so you go through the Great Depression, you go through the, the 40s and 50s. Yeah. With the World Wars. Well, World War I, yeah, it was prior to the Great Depression, but yeah. So right when she was born, just right after all that stuff. And then
It created the Great Depression.
Move forward, so the automobile and everything moved forward, and then she sees somebody land on the moon. So she basically came from horses and buggies in the span of her lifetime to see some dude on the moon. And she passed before, there was computers and stuff like that, but nothing, like it.
Yeah.
And so anyways, it's fascinating because I always when I meet an older person, if I find out that you're like the Military Matters show here is fantastic, because there's always veterans in there and they've always got, great stories. If I found out that this guy that was like 6'5" was a helicopter pilot in Vietnam. So it was like, how the hell did you fit in that helicopter? He's just like, the year that I was accepted in was the last year that they allowed anybody my height. He goes, and so I was the last one to be this tall in a helicopter. And so anyway, just the stories and stuff. And I just think, man, if somehow, some way, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I wonder if the youth of today would benefit from some sort of program to where they could have the maturity and say, hey, these people right over here, this home right here, most of them aren't going to be here in 5 years. Right. But while they're here,
but
you
it's a
could
matter
tap
of getting them
into.
interested.
That's what I'm saying. How do you do that?
How do you get over the apathy?
It's got to be human. It's just, it's got to be a human connection. It's got to be something that transcends them away from their everyday life, which means, like you're talking about, all the technology and the insensitivity, I would say, that is part of, kids, because they're on their screen so much and they're insensitive to the human emotions and the feelings that they may cause on purpose or on accident.
It's very easy to be a keyboard commando.
Yes.
And you don't get that blowback in person.
Yeah, that's a bullying topic right there, right?
Big time.
So, but anyway, I wonder, as far as like what we could do, for things instead of, say, for example, like being lazy. Right. So is it a generational laziness, or is it this cluster of the youth that give everybody a bad name? One bad apple spoils the whole bunch.
Right.
So maybe there's laziness, but like to your point, like, is it really their fault? Because it's the parents. Everything
Right.
is taught
Right. Who taught
by
them
modeling.
that they were going to be able to slide? That they weren't going to have to do work just because they were raised in a digital environment rather than a physical one. I mean, we
Right.
still need our cars fixed. We still need janitors. We still need houses cleaned. We still need cooks. We still live in the 3D, folks. We're not going anywhere. So, parents, our generation got screwed out of that by our parents saying, "Oh, you don't want to do that kind of job. You want to go to college and learn, instead of learning a trade where some not everybody is college material."
Exactly.
And I remember that being a thing
I'd
back
say
when we were kids,
probably
like hearing
30 to
parents.
40%
Right.
should go to college.
Right.
And then everybody else should experience a little bit of life, get some, job
Maybe go to
experience
community college,
or trade school,
learn, get some
something like that.
education and trade.
But yeah, it's interesting. So getting back to the brain and how your cognitive ability isn't mature till you're about 25. And then we're asking 18-year-olds to figure out what you want to do with the rest of your life.
Oh, that's the stupidest thing
That's so dumb.
ever. Asking children what they want to be when they grow
The
up.
perfect for college. What if this? And if I would have pursued my PhD, I already knew what my thesis was going to be. Is that we need to pump the brakes on kids continuing school right out of high school. Get them some real life experience.
And get
You
some
should
experience.
you should be in college probably between the ages of 24 to 28.
Right.
That'd be perfect because you've got some real life experience.
You can see how it's relevant.
It's relevant. You have some maturity, to you at that point. So
you have an idea.
I would change
target,
that whole system.
Absolutely.
18 years, even if you want to graduate high school early at 16, fine. What are you going to do for the next 2 years? Are you going to volunteer or are you going to get a job? Okay. Cause you have to, that's the only way that you can graduate early. Is a little bit controlling, but again, you're in school until you're 18 anyway. So giving the ones that are, because sometimes again with the curriculum,
there has
people
to be
get
a
bored.
structure. There has to be control.
Nobody will listen to me though, Cal.
I know. And we're like kind of in this, as things get worse before they get better, we're kind of in this like mush of people kind of getting away with just saying, well, that's my truth.
Right.
And just kind of going off half cocked. And like, we still have to have a society. There still has to be a coherence. And, we don't all have to hang out and sing Kumbaya together, but we all have to understand that humans are interdependent. We are an interdependent species. And people either want to get into codependency or independence. Like, they miss that middle ground of how we have to cooperate with each other. And, so when you go to Walmart, don't be a dick to the clerk because you need her. She's agreed to, stand there and check your stuff out. There's no reason for you to be a jerk. We have to interdepend on each other with people that aren't necessarily in our immediate sphere. So, when you're nasty to some stranger, just to let that energy out, you need to think about that for a minute and go, wait, they didn't deserve that.
Yeah.
What's wrong? What's wrong? What am I feeling? Where is this in my body? What's going on? How do I need to cope with this? And, instead of just assuming that everybody else needs to, handle your pain, stop bleeding on people who didn't cut you.
We have one of our guests that's online. Thanks for signing up, Jay Hatter, it looks like. So a couple of her comments was after our conversation. So she said I can't tell which one, but picking the brain of the greatest generation was once in a lifetime event. So again, anybody that's still alive, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I will find like time if I can just to talk with them.
Oh, I absolutely would if anybody's interested in what I have to say. No question.
No, for sure. Then some won't speak of it. I met a door gunner in a Huey that was in Vietnam. Yeah, he had survivor's guilt.
So did Papa Tony. Yes. Yes, that was big.
Yeah. And then last comment was everybody should have to spend 2 years on a farm in their teens.
I like it.
I would not shoot
A
that
farm,
idea
a
down.
factory, some structured environment where they have to do work, where they have
You
to actually
learn
use their bodies.
so much, and of course, when you're young and you're wanting to do things with your friends, and you have chores and stuff like that. But I tell you what, a lot of stuff. I mean, it taught me how to hunt, and if Armageddon ever happened, I don't want to live out in the wild.
No, but
I
you
mean, I
can
could
survive
for at least 3 hours.
I'm actually a pretty serious prepper. Like
Yeah.
I've got all kinds of crap, and Gen X we are like nobody else is like us because we grew up in all of that.
That's where I learned about life and death too. So my first pet was a little calf. Went to an auction with my dad, and
I remember
we bought that, and he's like, you want that one? And he's just like, you got to do everything. He says, you got to get up in the morning, feed it, and nighttime. And so it was like 2 or 3 months old. Still remember the name, Pinky. Pinky was the name. And so go out there one morning to milk it. Pinky was dead. Oh, I was crushed. I was about 10 years old. Just calves. That's their most vulnerable, and so, there was.
I thought you were going to tell me Dad had made it into veal.
No, maybe he did. I don't know. Now that I think about it, but
I mean,
it teaches you so much.
Yeah. Well, people wonder why Gen X.
How you got to keep working until the job is done.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get this fence done today. Learning how to feed these animals before you eat yourself. They rely on us, right? If you don't feed them, they're going to go hungry.
Right.
And do you want to go hungry?
Right.
No way. I want those cornflakes. I hate cornflakes now. But no, 2 years on the farm, that wouldn't be a bad thing. What's
some kind of, either I like that idea, either farm, a factory. I mean, for some people, farm just isn't practical. It's not going to happen. Yeah. A nursing home, a hospital, any kind of, structured facility environment that's going to make them follow process and procedure and use their minds and bodies in concert.
So now, what do you think about the fact that with all the challenges that we're talking about the youth of today, what is going to happen? Because they're going to be the ones that shape the future of policy, innovation, societal values, and things like that. Is that unnerving or scary, or are you confident? It's unnerving to me.
It is. It's unnerving to me too, because the boomers didn't let Gen X take charge.
Mm-hmm.
They marginalized us out the whole time, and they're still there.
Mm-hmm.
So we never got to come into the positions of power and leadership that we need to have had that experience for to guide the next generations.
Mm-hmm.
The boomers screwed us.
But what do you mean by that? Explain that.
They stayed in all of the in all the top jobs. They won't leave.
How about
will
Congress,
not get out.
Freaking
that's what I'm talking about. That's
get the hell out of
80,
here.
90s.
It's just ridiculous.
Right.
Should be
that's
an age
what I'm
limit.
saying.
Even 70.
We've been waiting for decades for us to get into power and fix all this shit. They know we're going to fix it. That's why they won't let us get in.
They've got
they know we're going to tear it all down.
They're hooked up to the teat of the treasury and all the other things that they do, the unscrupulous things. Let's put it like that. I was reading the other day. So AOC. So everybody knows she used to be a bartender and stuff like that. And I don't begrudge anybody.
She slept her way to her degrees.
Well, who knows? I mean, she's definitely
too stupid to have
except
that
for her horse smile. Everything else is like fairly attractive. I mean, she's she's not ugly, but I think the report was she's been in what, like 8 years, 10 years,
8 years, I think,
something like that. Yeah. So her net worth's $22 million.
How the hell does that happen with somebody making $175,000 a year?
And that's why they're saying that there may be a little bit of investigation. Bernie, right? The lovable,
I roll my eyes
progressive.
When anybody talks good about Bernie.
So he's like the whole oligarch and flying on the private plane and stuff like that, and same type of thing. Now this guy's a multimillionaire.
Assholes. They all are.
And it's hard for me to be a fan of somebody that, again, just if you have a government job, I think that's a little bit different than being a career politician. I look at a politician as a parasitic POS.
But so are government jobs. Think of it this way. Remember when we were kids, a government job was like, you didn't, that was a threat.
Well, statistically,
my mother used to say,
I think with the labor department, and again, I could be wrong, But back when, again, when we were younger in my 20s, so let's say the 90s, there was 1 out of like 20 jobs was a government job.
And they were
Now it's
low
like
pay.
now it's like
It was
1 out of 4.
It's ridiculous.
Some
They're making
state or
shitloads of money
federal.
for these jobs to do nothing. Government jobs have always been eye roll, cush,
Right.
like, oh, you work for the government.
and
Oh,
it
it was
was
for benefits.
and it was
People
that
did it
if
for
you ever got
benefits.
a government contract, that you could charge them
That was
more.
different. Now that's how all of this started. That's
Right.
how government job escalation and pay
Right.
got into it, because they started using private contractors that could charge whatever the fuck they wanted. And it turned, Kathy Clerk, who was making, $15,000 a year but had lifetime benefits. That's why people got government jobs back in the days, because you got insurance for life. But the pay was low, but that was the exchange. And they were usually cush jobs. You could get away with just being obfuscatory, and there was almost nothing you could do to lose your job except not show up. And even in some cases that didn't even work. People continued to get paychecks after they were fired or left or whatever, because the government systems are so screwed up. And because of the contracting and all the black budgets and all of that stuff, it has since turned into this administrative nightmare where they try to justify all these big programs and, oh, well, we need staff for this and staff for that. And they get their buddies in there and pay them shitloads of money. It's so corrupt. It's not even funny. And that's why they won't.
What do you think of Big Balls and the Doge team?
Oh,
Young 25-year-old or whatever.
There's no point. It was all for show.
Yeah.
All of that's for show. Nothing is ever going to change. The whole thing needs to come down completely. There is no fixing it from within. It's way too. It's just too diseased.
Do you think they're going to like keep Doge, because that's what the word is?
Probably not. I mean, it may be in some iteration, for when they want to trap somebody or when they want to use it against somebody.
Statistically, the polls and surveys show that, of course, we as taxpayers would love for that to actually happen, to where there's government accountability. You're not wasting our money, sending it to foreign shores. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they can choose.
It's a money laundering thing. That's going on. That's
the government is a money laundering thing. That's all they are.
And it's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, it's basically bankrupting us as a country.
The derivative exposure alone, just on investments, is over $4 trillion in non-existent money.
Well, and it's again like the Federal Reserve big Ponzi scheme. That's they've got the wool pulled over our eyes.
Well, they really don't. There's just nothing we can do about it. We know. Most people are well aware by now.
Most people don't, though.
Yeah, I guess. I guess.
For example, most people statistically think the Federal Reserve is a part of the federal government,
right?
And that's it's just not the case. So anyway, but we're talking about youth today. Let's compare what's going on today as we kind of wrap this up here, and compare the boomers' influence in the 60s, compared to what, if any, kind of influence are we experiencing from Gen Z?
Well, let me
compare point.
Let me tell you what happened. I watched this happen because I didn't have kids, so I had nothing but time to observe it. What happened was, boomers who and little bit older that were our parents disparaged us and gave permission to our kids. What would happen is you would have the kid with the grandparents, and they'd say, oh, it's okay, honey. Grandmommy says that's okay. Go ahead, you can do that, and give him this blanket permission for stuff. And then when they turned into assholes, they would say to their own children, who were the parents of these kids, why can't you raise your kids? Why are your kids such brats? Why are you, what's wrong with you? So we got all the trauma and no support. And the kids, the grandparents, so to cotton favor with the kids and get, be liked by the kids, would give them permission.
Yeah.
So there's this disconnect in between, mom and dad trying to say, no, you can't do that. Well, grandma said it was okay. Grandma let me do this. Grandma let me. So you get this push-pull between the parents.
It's called splitting,
and the kids.
In clinical splitting staff. So putting, and they're different parents, right? You get grandparent and the maternal parents, but that's still a way for the kid. Kids actually are so smart, they don't even know what they're doing psychologically, but they're so good at it.
Right.
Just like a little puppy.
Patterns.
puppy looking at, that you kind of begging for a little treat and stuff like that and whimpering.
Pattern
Kids do the
recognition.
same thing.
And then
And then even grandkids, right? And again, number 7 came this last Monday, as I mentioned. And like, I almost embrace that whole notion that it's our job as grandparents to spoil the kids. But I do both of them. They know, they give me that roll of the eyes when I start, because I tell them, I was just like, look, we're going to have some fun, because sometimes there's going to be some things that I see you doing wrong, and I'm going to treat you just the way that I raised your mom or your dad. So you're going to get a little taste every once in a while of what your mom and dad went through, as far as like learning lessons. But that being said, no matter how you feel, never be afraid of me, because I'm your ultimate backup.
Sure.
Because I'm still like watching over my kids, and now you got some other fruits from the tree that basically is happening. But even though they don't know it, I'm watching over everybody in the family. But yeah, the kids don't know that.
No. And that doesn't happen much anymore. That used to be common. That
I'm
used to
old
be what
school.
we did.
Yeah. I'm still old school.
now,
I'm not going to get away from it. I'm not going to change.
there's so much crap in pop psychology and child rearing and all these theories that are coming up and here and there, that you can pick and choose like what you want to use for justification for not performing. You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, this study said this, or this, whatever.
Yeah.
Or parents just go, oh, I'm confused. There's just too much. I'm overwhelmed. And they just throw up their hands and don't do anything.
Yeah.
And they remember how they were raised, and they want to be the cool parent. They don't want to be like their parents were. They're too light. Kids need discipline and direction, whether you like it or not. If you don't want to do it, don't have them.
And there were some things, of course, it was, again, country raising. There were some little snap spankings, let's put it that way.
Oh, I was straight up beat.
Whereas I said, okay, so when I have kids, I get it now, the cause and effect of why you spank your kid, because there are some things
you just have to shock them into.
It's like preparing them for, corporate punishment as an adult. If you do something wrong, it's not going to be a timeout or being grounded. You'll be in jail.
Right.
So there had to be that structure of just cause and effect, right? And so my process, and my boys, I love those guys, they got like our youngest, she's never had a spanking. The oldest, the girl, she maybe have had like 2 or 3 and just one good one when she was 14. But the boys got it. They were boys, but I was very processed with them. It wasn't any kind of, they never one time got a snap spanking.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Unless there was 2 things that for sure you'll get a spanking for. Number 1, if you lie to me. Okay. Because like, I know you're going to make mistakes. We know you're going to make mistakes, but when you get caught, that's part of it, is fessing up. That's part of it. And then depending on what it is, you'll get some punishment, but you're not going to get a spanking. And the other thing is, so don't lie to me. And the other thing is, don't steal.
Don't steal. Yep.
Right.
Don't lie, don't steal.
Yeah. Because the big thing as an adult is going to be don't steal.
Right.
That's a big one. Obviously, don't kill anybody.
Well,
right. But it was always in a spirit to prepare them as life, as an adult. And, so the process that I would go with the boys is I was 3 strikes and you're out. First time we'll talk about it. I'm going to warn you, I'm going to warn you, hey, don't be doing that. Now, if I see you doing it again, the next time that we talked is strike 2, but I'm taking responsibility for it, because there was something that I, as a parent, failed in doing to convey that you cannot be doing this anymore. Like, what, you tell me, what did I do wrong, or what can I do to help you understand?
What a great dad.
That you can't do this anymore, because strike 3 means that you're getting a spanking.
Yeah.
And I hate that. It affects me, even though I'm not getting the physical pain.
No.
It's a mental pain.
See, my mother enjoyed it.
Yeah. And I never did. I cried a couple times, with them afterwards. But again, it's different parenting. But again, I wanted to be something different, kind of an evolution. I wanted to kind of level up a little bit from a parenting standpoint.
That's so.
And now I
so
still
good.
second guess myself. I still say, should I have spanked them at all? And I look at kids that don't get spankings, And I'm just like, oh, hell no. I did a good thing.
No, absolutely you did. No question. I was
and my
straight
boys
up
still today,
geeked,
they say,
and
yeah,
I'm
it wasn't
grateful.
fun when it was happening. It was
No.
scary sometimes, but they
learned.
understand, and they love their old man, and and I love them too. And now it's frustrating because I can't spank them anymore.
That's so funny. My
Yeah.
mother had the wooden spoon,
Yeah.
and if I came home and the wooden spoon was on the third
Oh,
step,
yeah.
I knew I was in trouble.
What about like I remember my grandma on my dad's side, she would make us get a switch.
Yeah,
Off
my
the tree.
dad got hit with switches by his
Mhm.
mother. We didn't have switches. I didn't have a belt. It was the wooden
It was
spoon.
always tough, picking your own switch. But there was a science to it because eventually you found, okay, these little small ones, they kind of sting more, and if you get one that was kind of a little bit
Wallops
bigger
you.
and thick,
Yeah.
and then if it broke, they kind of like, oh, shit. And they stopped. Sometimes, bigger was better.
It's so funny.
So, but okay. So, comparing the baby boomers' influence in the 60s to today, to wrap this thought up, what, if any, influence do they have today? And if they don't have the kind of influence that parents did back in the 60s, what can they do about it? Or when is it going to be forced on them? Because that's what's going to happen. Eventually, the Generation X is going to be kind of like as old as like what we're complaining about, and they're going to be in charge.
Yes.
I already see some of these guys. The guy from New York, again, we don't talk politics, but the guy that just got the Democratic nomination for the mayor of New York, the guy's kind of out there,
Right.
as far as like,
see, I
some
don't
of
pay
this
attention
stuff.
to any of that. So
Yeah.
I vaguely saw a thing that there was a new mayor coming in.
Well,
young.
and it's not yet, it's, they still have to have the actual election
Oh,
with all
okay.
the other party, but it was the Democratic, side. But you can definitely, I don't know, man, it's hard to put your finger on it, but you just, it's just a little bit nerve wracking, because,
It's really not.
No, I mean, nerve wracking from, I guess, a responsibility of what would happen, not just with the little microcosm world, but our world in general. Because it's a tough place still. The world it's brutal,
Yeah.
and we've evolved in many ways as a society, but in many ways, we haven't. I think we should be further along, than we actually are.
No, I mean, we've come extremely, extremely far in a
Right.
very short period of time. Evolution has escalated so fast just within the last 200 years.
I see what you're saying, and I agree. You're exactly right. Because of, again, the last 100 years, 200 years, certainly. But what I guess what I'm saying is that, let's say the apocalypse happens, right? And there's some of us that are left over. Man, the strong are going to survive.
Right.
Only the strong will
It's not
survive.
gonna happen.
Not? I hope you're right.
No.
Yeah.
We think it is because we have a doom imprint. Gen X has a terrible doom imprint. We keep thinking,
I
we
mentioned
keep
this the
hearing
other
about
day.
the Flash and
Was it
the event, or
Charlton Heston, Planet of the Apes?
yeah, and
I'll never forget that Statue of Liberty in the sand after a nuclear holocaust.
right, and like I said, we watch
Oh,
too
and
many
we were being
movies.
told stories about, okay, so, talking, say, 1968, you're about 5 years old, and they're talking about how 15 years before they were having to like do drills, getting underneath their desks and stuff like that in case there was
Duck and Cover.
Yeah.
Remember seeing Duck and Cover?
Yeah.
I saw Duck and Cover when I was in 5th grade.
Yeah.
I never laughed so hard. I'll never forget the scene where they're having a picnic in the park, and the flash happens, and they pulled the blanket out from under all the food and put it over themselves.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
They were
you're gonna
jumping
make it.
against the wall, and we used to have suicide meetings, my friends and I, because they would show it to us.
Suicide meetings.
Yes, they showed us Duck and Cover, and then we would have drills in school, and they would say, once the flash happens, everybody go here, and we're all going to go together, and we're going to do this. There were like 5 of us that were good friends, and we're like, the
Yeah.
adults are fucking crazy. We're not going to survive this shit. We're
Yeah.
running straight for the flash. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to survive. I don't want to be with those people. I'm not
Yeah.
going to the gym. We are running outside. We are running as fast as we can
Yeah.
towards the
Towards it,
flash,
yeah.
and we are done for.
Yeah. I
5th
mean,
grade.
it's kind of like, what was that Morgan Freeman movie?
Event Horizon?
No.
Or was that Denzel?
Like with the meteor. The meteors that were coming. Deep Impact.
Oh, I never saw that.
That
I'll
was
have to
pretty good.
check it out.
So yeah, of course, not Armageddon, but I
Mhm.
guess the definition of but end of the world type of thing where a certain amount of people are going to be in the bunkers and underneath,
Yeah.
that they have prepared.
Yeah, and I was always
Yeah.
like, I always thought it was the stupidest thing ever for
But not
all these
everybody gets to go.
well, no, of course not. But
Yeah.
but I always thought it was so stupid. You hear about all these elites that have all
Mhm.
these underground bunkers. If the rest of us die, what the fuck are you people going to do? You need us. You need us
Yeah.
to run shit. You can't do anything for yourselves.
Yeah, when and if you come outside,
Yeah,
because
what are
there's
you going
no
to do?
nuclear fallout,
Yeah.
and so, but like I said, hopefully, we're not going to have to ever experience that. So, heck, man, here we are. We're closing in. Let's go ahead and tease. I guess maybe, possibly, what we'll talk about next week. I'm kind of thinking, maybe diving into how we wanted to have some entertainment
Mhm.
in here again, but how entertainment, play, leisure
Mhm.
has basically changed in the digital age.
Yeah, that's a good point too. I
Right?
think that'll be a really good discussion.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk about
Because we
that.
used to, God, it's just go outside and play,
Go
ride your
outside,
bike.
make build forts with boxes and pillows and
What's the recent
blankets.
thing like the obesity problem that's happening with our youth and adults also, of course, but
It's
our
been
youth
it's been happening.
is really, really bad. So,
Yeah.
but we'll talk about that maybe. We talked about digital trust, and so I don't want to be too repetitive, but I guess maybe,
Oh, that's such a vast subject.
right? I think we may be forgetting how to like truly, relax and laugh and
Well,
play
it's because I mean, just
like in real life.
the subconscious threat you feel from being online, from hearing all the time, hackers are going to get you. Don't go to this site. What happens if this? Don't go to porn. Don't do this. Don't do that. Like there's an underlying constant anxiety that a lot of people have just based on things that have been implanted into their brain that they shouldn't even really be concerned about. Like, I've never been, I've been online, literally, I've been online since 1987. I have never been hacked or had a virus, ever. It's not,
Oh, you never had that blue screen of death?
that's not a virus.
Oh.
That was poor programming on Windows.
Okay.
That was a glitch. No, that's different. Of course, I've had the BSOD. And no, I still get that. Actually,
Really?
yeah, there's a different version of it, but yeah, I still get that sometimes when I turn on my computer. But no, I'm talking like just the stuff you hear, be afraid of this or viruses or, hacking or this or that. And most people don't really understand how the internet works and, how to avoid going to like clicking on that email that says, this is Chase Bank. You need to update your password. Always check the email address it was sent from.
I do that all
They
the time.
can't
Yeah, you got all
spoof.
these little
Yeah.
like
You can spoof
gibberish.
the name.
Yeah.
It can say Chase Bank, but you cannot spoof an address and like make up like like if you don't work at chase.com, you cannot get an at chase.com address.
Exactly.
It's not going to happen.
Yep.
So always check the email
Yep.
that you get that kind of stuff from. But some people just click,
Yep.
whatever, and you download stuff and there's
Big
life.
dummies.
Well, no, ignorant, because get conflicting information and they don't take the time to learn. We people have to understand we are responsible for ourselves. We are responsible for our own information, for our own level of education, for our own level of skill and knowledge, and how we interact with the rest of the world. That's on us.
Don't open.
So, but yeah, I think that'll be a good one. Let's like basically let's talk about, childhood hobbies, kind of,
Yeah, how the
adult,
games, like board games, and how
like compare and contrast as we do.
Stratego to Pokemon Go.
Adult downtime, right now as compared to the way that it used to be, and
it's so different.
I guess just kind of trying to find out like what fun, like
what
even
is fun
anymore, and how we can reclaim it. Because
I'm with you.
God, man, we had so
we
much
were fun. Gen X was so much. We are so much fucking fun.
Man,
we are so much fun.
It's crazy. It seems like there's a kind of like
and there's been this damper, just a damper on everything from the boomers telling us to pipe down and the millennials telling us we're too old, pipe down. Fuck all of that.
Well, it's screwed up, man. I feel for these kids that just went through COVID. I mean, that really screwed up
big time. I knew that. I knew
a
it was going to. I
generation is going to
said
be
that the whole time. I said that. I'm like, all this homeschooling crap, all of this, fear. That, and then to have to go back into a corrupt system after you've been pulled out and taught by your parents at home, to go back in, where you're not necessarily getting inundated with gender studies and, all that kind of subversive stuff that just doesn't belong in schools, and then to be thrust right back into it again. It's just no. That, yeah. And they knew what was going to happen.
So what do you
They
think?
knew.
Is that what you want to talk about?
Yeah.
Fun next week?
I do.
So I have a little note here that says Gen Z calls everything mid, which means it's okay. It's kind of like average.
Yeah.
So
And
kind of like, have they lost their
have they lost their ability
spark,
to feel joy? Yeah, and that's, again, that's a brain chemical thing. We really need to look at every bit of all of this. Eventually works its way back to physiology, and because how we present ourselves, like how we are in the world, is a result of our physiology. It's a result of the chemical, the bioelectric chemical, shitstorm that we are, basically. And it's really not. I mean, it's very interesting how the body actually works together. And when you do it right, when you give it what it needs to do things right, stuff just gets better. And you don't necessarily understand why, but we have been so poisoned with the food we eat, the media that we're inundated with. What's happening is we are being epigenetically changed. And because genetics, the way genetics works, it's not what people think or what we've been taught, where you just inherit stuff and traits, and if your parents had it, you're going to get it, and if you're doomed, and this and that. It's not. We've learned through the science of epigenetics that it's your environment. It's what you give your body, how you act, it's who you're around, what you hear, what you see, it's all of it. It's a 360 that affects how the genes are just a map. It affects how they, what are called, signal or upregulate and downregulate, turn the proteins on and off. There's 140,000 different proteins that can be created by our genes that all make up our body and how it operates. And we're not taught any of this. And the sciences in it are advancing very quickly. We're learning very fast. But, you start to see how that works as a collective when you have this whole group of kids that are all entrained with each other, just going, whatever.
Yeah.
And then that also comes from how you're being raised, and
that's everything.
what you see around you that you then mimic. So if you like a bunch of apathetic Gen Xers that are like, yeah, IDGAF, about anything, and you're raising your kids that way, well, of course they're going to be apathetic. If you don't think you have a chance in this life, your kids are certainly not going to have a chance in this life.
You're going to wear off on them, that's for sure.
That's it.
Hey, did you know that there's a little nostalgia there's things going on where rewatching old shows, kids are rewatching old shows, and they're rebooting board games.
I love it.
Right?
We will say our TV was so educational and morally, had moral guidance.
Oh yeah.
On how to act and how it was very golden rule-ish.
You could only cuss at school with your friends.
Cussing that's not an issue.
No, I'm just saying that's where you heard most of it. Cool.
See, I learned from my mother, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, think Golden Girls, even Frasier, Cheers.
Right.
At the end, there was always Three's Company, Happy Days.
Lesson to be learned.
There's always
the moral of the story is,
no matter what shit they got themselves into in the show, at the end, it all resolved, and you could see the trajectory of how to resolve things.
Right.
We don't have that anymore. Now we have TV that's purposely subversive. We have shit that's weird just for the sake of being weird. We ended up with stuff. It started with like SpongeBob and Ren and Stimpy, and
that was unusual.
Bad. I remember at the time thinking, The Simpsons.
I don't get it.
Just going this.
I mean, every once in a while, SpongeBob
dumb.
would say some funny stuff, but
I saw
it's just peculiar. It was peculiar. It was definitely different.
And it skewed
Beavis and
people's
Butthead.
thinking.
I thought Beavis and Butthead was funny.
Beavis and Butthead was very funny, but it was based on, we all knew Beavis and Butthead. Every single one of us grew up with a Beavis and Butthead. That's good. That's really well done. And, so you could relate, because we knew those people.
Right.
Nobody knows a SpongeBob SquarePants. Nobody knows a Ren and Stimpy. Nobody knows a, Rick and Morty. you can't relate to any of that.
Yeah.
So you have to take it in and assimilate it somehow in your brain. And then what it does to kids is it makes them start mimicking it.
Were they so popular because they were the only thing that was on the Cartoon Network?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all there was.
So all the kids are talking about SpongeBob
We
SquarePants.
were raised on the Justice League, so we're out trying to save the world,
even
and they're trying to break it down.
Even Sesame Street.
Absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
So
Zoom. Remember Zoom?
I didn't even know Bert and Ernie were gay until I think I was 40-something.
Oh, and who even knows if that's true? I mean,
two guys living together.
Yeah, I mean,
taking baths together with his rubber ducky. So, okay, that's a date then. Okay, so next week we're going to be talking about the difference in fun between then and now. But there's a lot of, I think, good things that are
that's going to be interesting because I actually went through a period recently where I didn't even know what fun was. I didn't know what I thought was fun. I didn't want to do anything to try and create it, and Fortunately, I've recovered through that. But you ask some interesting questions when you're just like, I don't want to do anything. I just don't care. You know?
Yeah.
And it feels good to like be having fun again.
Yeah. You got to care.
Dancing at the Polo Lounge and
the Polo Lounge. I haven't been there.
Oh, Polo's so much fun. It's pure Gen X now.
Really?
Yep. All the boomers went away.
I love it. Okay, so they
mostly
still
Gen
got
X. There's some millennial. Oh yeah, the booths are all still there. And then the dance room. Bobby G's the DJ.
Oh, no way.
Oh yeah, he's so great.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's awesome. Fridays and Saturdays he does dance, and then Mondays and Thursdays are karaoke.
Bobby G, is he the one that used to perform at the cabaret at the Peppermill?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, that guy's got a good voice.
He doesn't sing. He's the DJ.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of Bobby D.
Oh, Bobby D. Yeah. That's somebody different.
Right.
No, Bobby G is Bobby Georgeton. He's a fabulous. I mean, his mixes are just the stuff he comes up with. Just it's crazy. It's mic drop kind of stuff. The way he can like mix a song and stuff that you would never dream goes together.
So, episode 10, we're winding down here. So, what's your takeaway today with the conversation?
My takeaway today is it's complicated. You know,
it is.
Things. You know, authority is changing. Discipline is changing. Our ideas of what those things even are and how to apply them are shifting like dramatically. You know, like it's come to the point where, you know, Gen X was treated a certain way and we were the ones who went absolutely no more and broke a cycle. But where you go from here? So, you know, we're in a soup. I mean, it's definitely, we're in transition and it's up to us to figure it out, you know, in the most effective way possible. And to me, that would be, you know, the way that treats the most people the best. You know, and not everybody is going to fall under that category. Some people are going to end up getting hurt, marginalized out, whatever, you know, not agreeing. But when you're talking 8.2 billion people, we are never going to be on the same page. We're just not. We're not designed to.
Right.
You know, there's this utopian idea that the collective is, you know, we're all one. You hear people say that we're all one. And people get this delusional idea of meaning that we're all supposed to agree.
That's not the same thing.
No, that's not what that means. We're all one means we all come from the same source.
The life force.
Yeah, that's it. Just like one of the most misconstrued phrases ever is all men are created equal. That doesn't mean we're all supposed to have the same shit. That just means that we all came into this world by meat of an egg and a sperm. Period. End of story.
Oh,
that's what that means.
I like that distinction.
That's all that means.
Yeah. We all entered the world with the same chance.
We are all literally created equal by the same process. That's all that means. That does not mean everybody needs to have the same opportunity or the same stuff or the same number of chromosomes or the same number of cars or the same anything. It just means that we all come out of the womb with the same nothing.
I like that. Can you give that distinction to our politicians?
I've tried. I've been saying that for decades. I've said it on many other radio shows. I've been saying that for a long time.
I really do.
Well, I'm a direct descendant of Benjamin Rush. I've been studying the Constitution literally my whole life.
I thought you were going to say Benjamin Franklin.
No, Rush. They were best friends.
What?
Rush helped co-draft the Constitution, signed the Declaration, fourth column over, second signature down.
Oh.
And was the founder of modern psychiatry and the first one to recognize alcoholism as a true physical disease.
Wow.
He was brilliant.
So how did you find that out? Did you do a 23?
Oh, no, I've always known. It's come down through my family. My dad looked just like him.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm the last.
Pictures
I'm the last
from back
Rush.
in the day.
I'm the last one. I'm it. I'm the last of the family.
What?
I'm the last one with the name. It dies with me.
No.
Yep.
Oh. Like you need to freeze some eggs.
Well, and technically, I'm adopted, so technically, I'm not. I'm not through birth.
Oh, okay. Not in bloodline.
But yeah.
Okay.
Thank God, because they were insane. That's why he got into psychiatry, because that whole that line is riddled with alcoholism and insanity. My father's mother was psycho bitch, and his brother had issues.
Not like Lizzie Borden psycho. I've heard stories.
Close. She was by all rights and reason, he should have been a serial killer, the way she treated him.
Speaking of that, we are almost finished with revisiting Dexter.
Oh yeah, did you go back and watch it again?
Yeah, because the Resurrection, the miniseries is coming up, I guess, on the 11th.
Interesting.
And so, when watching it again, we just so many times, just like I don't remember that.
Yeah,
because it's been like 15 years.
I never saw it the first time. I saw bits and pieces of it. I saw episodes here and there.
Yeah,
I wasn't into it. I was too into true crime. I didn't need to watch fiction.
Yeah, right.
I loved true crime.
I think the reason I liked it so much again, because being raised with law enforcement,
sure.
Just the whole premise.
Yeah.
That just like I'm not a serial killer. You can't prove anything.
Yeah.
But if I were,
yes.
I mean, the whole code and, kind of just putting like rabid dogs down, that's something that I guess, like if I was going to do it, that's probably what I would do. Somebody that say got away with rape and murder, it's just like, okay, they, you like getting off on some technicality when the dude was guilty, but he's walking the streets now, because he has a good attorney.
Mm-hmm.
I like that premise.
Mm-hmm.
Just if you're going to be doing it, something like that, you do it by doing a favor to society, so to speak.
Yep.
Yeah. And everybody's like vigilante, I don't know.
It's like in Texas. Yeah. In Texas, we had the he needed killing defense.
He needed killing, or what was that Samuel Jackson movie that was Time to Kill, right? Where it started out and his daughter, got raped by a couple of backwoods, dudes and stuff like that. Good old boys in the county and stuff. Man, I love that movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, there've literally been people that have gotten off in Texas from because the jury agreed, because the lawyer said. In not so directly, but Jerry Spence actually did say that once.
Wow. Well, our system for sure, is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. So everybody out there, don't worry. I'm not going to go Dexter on you. Our society is safe. So what do you think? You ready to get this thing over?
I think we're good.
All right. Well, let's do the old theme then. Let's see a couple things as we wind down. Again, we want to thank everybody for listening to episode 10 with G-Man and Kel here on What's the Matter podcast. Want to thank our sponsors, advertisers, first and foremost, World Matters Incorporated, who allow us to use their beautiful studio. Big Bongo Productions is in charge of the show. And let's see. Outside of that, let's see. Shout outs. Let's shout out Jay Biggs. Make sure you listen to him on the show. We are going to see you next week. This is G-Man and Kelly signing off. See ya.